Switching gears, talking about another superstar player for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We probably could do this every single week, but this is someone near and dear to your heart, someone who you really watched his development from somebody who was a good prospect, by no means a ordained superstar, to what is now one of the marquee players in all the game. Certainly my son's favorite player, a lot of kids' favorite player, and somebody who, even as he gets later in his career, finds new ways to change his legacy, really, because we're talking about Mookie Betts as maybe the second best shortstop in baseball behind Bobby Witt. I mean, he's in the conversation. Of course, Lindor, Perdomo, Jeremy Pena's playing great. Dansby Swanson always has some nice stuff going on. Talk about Gunnar Henderson. He's going to get going. But, I mean, Mookie Betts, who's not even really hitting at the level that he's used to, you can expect that to tick up here towards the end of the season. Just the defense that he's playing with, 93rd percentile at shortstop. This is something I didn't realize he had in his bag.
We talked not too long ago about the transition of Javi Baez from short to center. I think this is the biggest transition from the outfield to playing everyday shortstop. I think everyday shortstop is the hardest position in baseball to play, in my opinion. It feels like the most demanding and the most defensive pressure is applied to that position. It comes up in every scenario. You're in the middle of the field. You're involved in every play. When you're a scout, you're looking for shortstops first. If you could find them, there's a reason for that teams gravitate to that position. They're just in the middle of all the action. And to have a cornerstone franchise shortstop as a building block of your organization, that's number one with a bullet if you can get it. What's interesting here is Mookie Betts, man. Mookie Betts he's my favorite player in baseball, and I think I'm not alone in that. Eli, your son, I think there's a reason for that, and I think it's also really well earned. First of all, elite level teammate. We mentioned it here, voted as the number one teammate guys would want to have, but also really just an elite level producer at the level of Freddie Freeman. Ridiculous consistency for a long, long time. And I watched the arc happen from the beginning at the Red Sox years, where he was starting to transition into right field from second base. And Pedroia was there, so it made more sense to at least open up the outfield as an introduction point, because he was ready offensively. Flew through Greenville, flew through Portland, crushed Pawtucket AAA, was just ready to go. But that position wasn't open at the time. Dustin Pedroia was, Dustin Pedroia. And so he took to the outfield and then ends up becoming the best defensive outfielder in all of baseball, winning multiple Gold Gloves. I think at a certain point was graded out as the highest grade you could have as a defensive right fielder: arm, range, completion of plays. You go to the World Series, there's all sorts of plays that he's made in clutch moments, to then now at 32 years old, switching back into shortstop and now producing at a, what'd you say, 93rd percentile in range. I see 89th percentile here in OAA for the best team in baseball, for the reigning champions and the first place Dodgers. So what more can you say? Elite level athleticism and elite level instincts. It seems like the Dodgers have a bit of a type. One thing is identifying, and another thing is being able to secure it. Because the Dodgers, the first piece they secured in their entire thing here, for me, feels like Mookie Betts. That was the player they did everything they could to acquire and then lock up long term. And I think that's been one of the better decisions in all of baseball across the past 7-8 years. It's hard to argue against it.